SFM is brought to you by Air Care One, Worldwide Air Ambulance Services.
Yeah, I watched one of his road course races in, I want to say road course up in Oregon, one of his first Xfinity starts, and he won that race, and his victory lap was basically, what's that? It's a really new fad, where basically they're trying to spin the car out without spinning the car out, drifting.
Drifting and burnouts, I believe.
Yeah, he drifted that car around the entire track for his victory lap. It was awesome.
Yeah, I've heard great things about Shane, and you know, he's a great talent, and he's going to be in the series for a very long time. And you know, Marcus Ambrose entering NASCAR, I think, was a big part of the interest in Australian drivers, although Will Power was already in the sport at the time as well. But I think Marcus Ambrose brought a lot of attention to people about how good Australian drivers can be in NASCAR. But the only thing, though, was Ambrose would have won more races if bad luck hadn't come his way a handful of times and if he drove with a better team, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
And I definitely think Shane will definitely win on an oval eventually. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, I think he will too. I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with here very shortly.
Yeah. What was your reaction to hearing the news about that Chicago win?
I was happy because I'm not a big fan of the person that may have won.
Justin Haley?
Huh?
Was it Justin Haley?
No. Bubba Wallace. I'm not a big Bubba Wallace fan. He rubs me the wrong way. I'm going to say it nicely. He rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, I understand that, you know. Everybody has their opinions on him, and, you know, we all got to learn, especially in the times that we're in, we got to learn that we need to be accepting of other people's perspectives. And I say this for even NASCAR fans in general. We just got to accept that not everyone's going to like the same driver.
Exactly. And I mean, I started out with liking Bubba Wallace, but some of the antics and things that he's pulled and some of the things that he said, he's kind of a detriment to the sport, in my opinion, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, and you know, nobody should be forced to explain why they don't like someone or why they don't care for someone, you know, because in the end it's everyone's preference, you know, free will.
Absolutely. Exactly.
You know, that I will say that I view the same way about Joey Logano, but I can respect that there's people that do like him, you know.
Right. And honestly, for a long time, I was not a huge fan of his either. As of late, now that he's kind of grown up and he's a married man and he's turned a corner, and I'm not a disliker of him anymore. He's definitely not ever going to make it into my top 10 list of drivers.
Yeah.
I think most of the drivers that I loved growing up and loved in the sport, they're all retired they're all retired or unfortunately passed away.
Yeah, I know what you mean. As far as my opinion on Joey, yes, you know, he's grown and he's matured and he's done some good things for the sport that I can't, you know, throw out just because of his driving style that I don't agree with. As far as, you know, I would say the closest that I came to seeing like an Allison Yarborough thing, although it was more controversial and not really praised, was when Matt Kenseth took him out. You know,
yeah.
You know, the thing is, I don't condone what Kenseth did in the sense that it was a dangerous act, but it was hard for me at the time to feel sympathy for Joey, just because the way I looked at it, when you test somebody's patience, it's only a matter of time before people lose goodwill for you. Now,
absolutely.
Now, I'm not saying that, you know, he deserved what he got, but, you know, I just personally don't think that he was ready to be a champion yet at that time.
Absolutely not.
And, you know, in the end, though, Kenseth did face the natural consequences. But, you know, I was very glad when I witnessed Kenseth win Phoenix in person 2 years after he missed that race, you know.
Right.
So, you know, these days we just got to remember that relations matter as much as having a trophy on your wall. And so, you know, Joey has grown and has turned a corner, and so has Brad Keselowski, because, you know, Keselowski was getting into trouble the year before as well, but he has grown tremendously and now owns basically the Roush Fenway racing team. And Brad, you know, became a family man as well, and then we saw Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch turn corners, you know, and they...
Oh, absolutely.
And so, you know, I just think that there's just some people that don't understand things when they're just getting into the sport that they later learn in their career. And so, definitely Joey has turned a corner. It doesn't mean that I still agree with his driving style, but in the end, you know, I shouldn't force my agenda onto other fans or my opinions onto you or anyone else, you know.
I understand that completely, and I'm the same way. If I like a driver, I like a driver. If I don't, I don't. And like I said, you brought Brad Keselowski up. He was also one of those guys that was so cocky and arrogant, and just, I did not like him for a very long time now. Mm-hmm. And honestly, hearing Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano in the booth as announcers is amazing.
SFM is brought to you by Air Care 1, Worldwide Air Ambulance Services. Call now.